Hello, I'm BXToyCat and welcome back to QnA Saturday. This is a weekly series I run on my channel where I answer your questions about a variety of things, usually including the future of Minecraft console. And in particular today I'm going to be talking about TU27, 28, etc. because on my Minecon Q&A I got a bunch of questions about that. So anyway, if you want to leave your own question for next week's Q&A, you can leave one in the comments down below. And while you're down there anyway, a like would be very much appreciated on the video. It helps out the channel a lot and lets me know you do like it. Anyway, let's get straight into the first question, which comes in from Bear Scientist, and that's the name I can get behind, by the way. And they ask, they just say Q&A, how would ocean monuments work in the next update, considering that most maps only have an ocean at the edge of the world, meaning most worlds won't have access to any prismarine? So yeah, ocean monuments are the thing that, gardens spawn out, if you don't already know, and they are a really rare structure that only spawn in ocean biomes, and even then not too commonly. So I imagine they'll have a fix for this, and that fix is probably going to be a slight increase on the number of ocean biomes and a slight decrease on the size. They've already done this once for Minecraft console, so I don't see why they wouldn't do it again, because you might think there's no worlds of ocean besides at the edge, but in reality you do see some of them, like in the middle of the world, and I imagine those will just have a decent chance of seeing, the water temples, because there should be a thing where, like, most worlds have access to a water temple, and if not, then they could just make it so one of the corners will have a water temple, and that'd be a cool way to, implement, make it so every world in a console could have that, and, that's one of the options. But yeah, they could just make oceans more frequent, because they're not too infrequent right now, or they could just make the edge of the world count as a water temple, and, that's something that's entirely possible, and actually be pretty cool if you ask me, but that's just my opinion. Let's move on to the second question, which comes in from Ezio73. And they say, wait 8 months for the next update, sad face. And, this is a misconception. You don't really have to be waiting 8 months for this next update. It's not, actually going to be coming in February, most likely. I mean, in actual fact, it's probably going to be coming out a lot sooner than that. I mean, I don't know exactly when, but I'd put my guess at 6 months, because it looks like they're switching to like a 2 updates a year cycle or something like that. It seems as though that's the way it's been for the past couple of years now. And if they got an update out late this year, that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, 8 months for the next update is the longer side of it. I think 8 months is a bit of a stretch, but I'm not going to say it definitely won't be 8 months, but I imagine it probably wouldn't be, especially after an update of this size. Anyway, let's move on to the next question, which comes in from Revive AF. ASF, sorry, who says, I live in America. Please tell me you British, have Kit Kats. And do not worry, we do have Kit Kats here in the UK. I don't think we have as many flavors as you, but we do have, the regular ones, and we have the cookies and creams ones, and we got a bunch of Kit Kats, basically. Don't worry. I know this is the biggest concern of everyone in the comment sections. It's because I made a comment about how we don't have certain candy bars here that they do in America. We have a bunch, just there's also a bunch that are missing. There's the ones that are in both countries, then there's the ones that are only in America. So yeah, that's why I like specific American chocolate bars, because they're the ones we don't get all the time here. Anyway, let's move on to the next question, which comes in from Tina Speciali, who asks, #Q&A, are dark oak / acacia wood going to be in the next update? Thank you. Thank you for asking the question. And to respond to it, are dark oak and acacia going to be in the next update? Most likely, I'd say 99.9%, because like with stained glass last update, they put in all the coding, all the stuff, and then they just released it the update after. That's the same thing they've done here, except this time it kind of makes sense, because if they release new biomes in the next update, it makes sense to release dark oak and acacia at the same time, because otherwise people will be bored of them, and then there's no real reason to go to these biomes. And when they expand the world, when they change the world, they want to make sure that it's a brand new exciting update, and there's lots of reasons to go to all these new biomes, like with the coarse dirt in the Mega Tiger, like with the 2 new trees, like with the red sand for the mace biomes. All these cool different reasons to go out and explore, and if they remove some of those reasons early, I guess I could kind of see that. So yeah, I think it's 99.9% confirmed, but obviously not 100%. And let's move on to the next question, which comes in from Anthony Bridgen, who says, plus IBXToyCat, do you think we'll be able to change our field of view? They say R, but I assume it's our field of view on the next update. I really hope they add that option. So, the thing about field of view on consoles is, first of all, because you're so far away from your TV most of the time, I know some of you are in edge case scenarios, but most people sit far away from their TV, it doesn't make too much sense to do that. And the reasoning behind this is that, a field of view on when you're really close to the monitor, you need to have a wider one, because it makes more logical sense. But when you're far away from something, a narrow field of view, I think we're on 65 or 70 on the console right now, it actually kind of makes sense, because, that's a smaller part of your field of view. Anyway, so the the big reason why they won't add a slider to let you change that and decide for yourself is because the max field of view does take a little bit more power, and therefore would have more frame drops, and they'd have to make the game run significantly better just so they could cater to the small number of people who want to change the field of view. Basically, it'd be a lot of effort only for a few, and I'm sorry for those of you who do want to do it, but it's one of those things that's not very likely for the near future anyway. But maybe we should just petition them or something. I don't know, but I just gonna say field of view changing, unlikely, I'd say. Next question comes in from Lirim Zinelli, who asks, #QnA, why does Minecraft Pocket Edition have servers but console versions don't? And this is a good question, and honestly, I didn't even know Pocket Edition had servers until maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And it is really a funny issue because, you know, the PCs just always had servers. It's been a key part of the game, but now the Pocket Edition has, like, this weird set of rules to go through to make servers. And the thing is its servers aren't really that accessible for most people right now. You have to download an external app, then you have to find a server, and you can't play a friend, you can just play on other people's servers, which, you know, is kind of cool because you can do stuff like, you know, I think I've seen Pizza Spleef, I've seen Hunger Games, I've seen all these cool game modes, but there are still a lot of things missing from that. So, basically, this actually works by using an external app. It doesn't work, it's not built into the Pocket Edition yet, and the reason that's possible is because the console edition is very locked down. Consoles in general, they're a locked down piece of hardware. That's the reason why, well, in theory, there's very few crashes when it comes to games on console. You know, it's one set of hardware, so it can be programmed to run perfectly on that. The thing about the Pocket Edition is, I think this is only on Android that this works, but basically, you know, you can just change so much about your own phone because the phone is slightly less locked down than the console, and there's a lot of reasons behind that, but the basic reason behind what I'm saying here is when servers come to the console edition, they will not come in the same way where the users make them. There will have to be so much input on the side of the developers, you know, 4J in this case, and I do think that will happen at some point. I think it will happen at some point sooner than we figure, but the big reason behind why we don't have it yet is because it's not a matter of the users doing something, it's a matter of the developers doing something, and they, of course, busy developing the game rather than just, you know, some add-ons for it. Anyway, that's the reason behind that one. Let's move on to the next question, which comes in from EnderDragon23, who asks, are there going to be new mobs on next update, and how many? So if the next update is 1.8, which is what we're assuming so far, there will be 3 brand new mobs, or 4 if you count it that way. There is the Guardian, there is the Endermite, and there is the Bunny Rabbit, which is of course the best, and then of course there's the Elder Guardian. So 3 or 4 mobs if it's based on 1.8. So far, like I mentioned in yesterday's video, most of our logic points that it's probably going to be based on 1.8. We can't say that with 100% certainty, but that's as I said, that's where the logic is pointing right now, and yeah, that would mean 4 new mobs probably, but you know, that's not like 99.9% confirmed, that's just probably what it's looking like. But you know, lots of stuff changes between now and then. I'm looking forward to showing and covering it, but we'll have to see. Anyway, moving on to the next question, which comes in from Carrot Cake, which is that's an interesting name, and they say maybe they are doing a massive update and they're including 1.9 and releasing it when PC adds 1.9. So this is a theory I really love the idea of, and if I was just, you know, someone who watched videos, I'd love to just be like, yeah, it's gonna totally bring it up to 1.9, but you know, based on the fact that this last update wasn't even a whole version, it was, you know, like a quarter of a version, I think this, you know, the 1.8 update is a massive update that they can't just do in, you know, the space of 6 months. It took the PC, I think, 8 months for 1.8 and something similar for 1.7, so over a year for both these updates combined, and for the next 6 months for them to do, you know, a year and a half worth of development, plus this, like, close to a year they've done on 1.9 already, it just seems like too much to ask for. I'd love to believe it, it's possible, but I do think that 1.9 as the next update for console is unlikely unless they literally spend a year. But yeah, I don't think the next 1.9 is when we'll catch up to the PC anymore, because I had a conversation with one of the staff members at Minecon. It was one of the developers, I believe. And it was talking about how the console version for the next while is just going to be the stable version of the PC one. Instead of having to deal with the whole process every time an update comes out, being like, oh, this is broken, this, then it should just be as simple as, oh, yeah, that'll be fixed. And you know, it's the stable version, which, you know, there's a couple of issues with that, but recently they've been getting better at that. And, yeah, that's kind of what they predict. So at some point they'll catch up the PC, but they don't entirely know when, which means it's probably not the next update. Anyway, moving on from the final question, which comes in from Ifatika Hassan. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. They say, IBX Toycat, can we get capes that we can put on our skins on console? And the answer to this question is I don't think so, because the big one, this is one that really has to play into so many of their decisions, licensing. So right now there are a bunch of skins like the Marvel skin packs, like the Doctor Who skin pack, like the Star Wars skin pack, that they have to get specific licensing for every time they do anything to that sort of stuff. And if they add, capes, every time they add a new cape, they'd have to go to all these license holders and make sure they're okay with this specific cape being on there. Like, it's a whole mess. And basically, if they were going to add custom capes, if they were going to go through this effort, the best time to have done it would have been with Minecon when they released the 4 new capes. But instead, they just made skins with those capes on, which, fair enough, I guess. So, capes for console, there's a lot of reasons why they can't do them, and they would have done them already if they were going to. So, I'm sorry to say, I do not think we'll get capes for our skins on console. Anyway, I hope you did enjoy this week's Q&A Saturday. If you did, please do like it and let me know. It helps out the channel a lot, and let us know you do like it. Share it if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here. I make videos like this every single day on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.